Hello and welcome to Mike's Garage. If you've already subscribed to our channel, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do. And when you do, be sure and tap on the little notification bell so you'll be notified every time we put up a new video. I'm adjusting to the winter weather. I'm cold. Anyway, yeah, well, it just got that way, and I'm not going to complain and whine and everything. I'm just going to, go in and sit on the furnace and call it good, But anyway, in our last video, what were we doing? We were working on this panhead here of Fred's. This is the art department, Fred. And I took it apart. And I want to apologize. I didn't pull the tappet blocks out when I was showing it off. And the reason I didn't is I really wanted to pull the original cam out so we could compare it and look at them and all that. So I just kind of went around that step. And I apologize for that. I should have taken the lifter blocks out and then we could have seen everything that way. But no, I just wanted to get that cam out and look at it. That's why I did that. But anyway, it's been kind of interesting going through this thing. This is basically a new motor. But here's the lifter blocks. And I had to take the carburetor support bracket off to get the lifter blocks out. But here it is. I've got all the timing gears set. Now, I've done the measurements. When I had the time to come out here and sit around and do them, I've got the measurements done for the end plays of both the breather and the cam. And interestingly enough, since Fred put this bike together, and again, this was a new motor and a nice motor, but it's always blown a little oil out of the breather hose. It's always irritated me and irritated Fred, and anybody who gets it in their face doesn't particularly care for it.
Me.
Yeah, well, John got it pretty good once. But anyway, what I'm getting at is the end play on this breather gear was not right. Now, they call out, I think, 1 to 5 thousandths, and you have to calculate into it the crush of the cam cover gasket. But to measure it, it's not a real big deal to do. Feeler gauge, and I did that twice, didn't I? Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Feeler gauge and a straight edge, and you do it on the gasket, and you figure that gasket's going to crush 5 or 6 thousandths. So it's kind of a, how can I say it? It gets right down to a feel thing, and you do it enough times and it won't bother you. You say, well, that's not a very straight answer, Mike. How many thousandths should I give it? Well, that's on you, okay? But your service manual will give you specifications, and the early service manuals say much tighter specs than the later motors are. And I found it interesting that there was too much play in the breather gear, and the cam gear, there wasn't a spacer at all in there. There was the original thrust plate in there, wow, which I can show. It's pretty common. Harley did the same thing on their Evolution motors. You take an Evolution motor apart, and you're going to put a cam in it, and you go, okay, let's see what size shim they put in it. They didn't put one in it at all. So they really didn't care about that end play. So really, it gets to be a personal thing as far as doing that end play is. But there it is. And so here's this new cam, which is sure nice. This is a brand new Andrews AB. Andrews AB. So the intake valves are like an old Andrews A grind, and the exhaust valves are like an Andrews B grind. An A grind, I can't remember what the duration is, but you've got longer duration on the B. I think the A is 240 some degrees and the B is 256, which probably doesn't mean much to most people. But when you're running it down the road and it has more top end and it's running a little smoother and a little cooler at high speed, it's the kind of thing makes you love it. So, you know, cam specs are really, you know, the geniuses that come up with them. I'm impressed. I really am. And there are certain things I know about them, but to say that I'm any kind of an expert on them, no. Well, I do know, it's really interesting, that all the different companies that have cams out there, all these different guys, usually when you got a company like, say, in the old days you had Tom Sifton, there were a bunch of different guys. Of course, Jim Lineweber. All of these guys really, to my way of thinking, were really geniuses. And I was real fortunate to get to be friends with a lot of these guys. Mm-hmm. And what you get is you find out that I'm going to move this, and I don't want to move it in your face, Mike. So, okay. Anyway, the I slid that right into place. You know, a lot of times what I normally... What's that? This? Like... Okay. Now, normally I'll pull the breather gear out so I can push the cam gear in, and it'll line up on the pinion gear here on the mark there. Everybody see that okay? Okay, there's a mark right there, which I can't see my finger. And then there's a timing mark on the breather. That's an aftermarket breather gear, and it's got kind of a stupid mark on it as far as I'm concerned. Well, normally it would show. Mm-hmm. It would line right up with this cam gear mark like we've got, but couldn't find it without pulling the shim off. Mm. That's kind of... Where did that go?
Under the red cloth.
That's what I thought. Thank you. I didn't want to mix it up with the one that didn't fit right. Mm. Which you'd think I would have put it away somewhere so I couldn't mix them up, but no. Anyway, here, let's put a little bit of assembly lube. Yeah, it's assembly lube, something I'm a big proponent of. Anyway, so there it is, and like I said, I've already set the end plays, and I'm ready to put this cam cover back on.
Put some red stuff in there?
No, I am not. It's all wet.
Okay.
Thank you. Move that like that. That like that. Nice. And there we have it. Makes me happy. So...
Can we see those lifters?
We can. I'm just not there yet.
Okay.
I think we'll stick with what we're doing in order here.
All right. Sorry.
Well, but there we go. Isn't that nice? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, you know, Fred keeps his thing so clean. I hardly had to wash anything, but probably should have a little bit more than I did. And we're going to have this stuff on here in a matter of minutes here.
And yes, we have a heater going.
Whoa, that was wrong. I had a magnet here somewhere. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Ta-da!
Yeah, that's it. And these two are the generator bolts. Now, what we're going to do is put the, what we're doing right now is putting the cam cover back on. And let's see, can I get that out of my face?
Fred and see if he wanted that buffed or anything.
I don't think so. I think he wanted it just like it is. If he wanted it polished,
Oh, I didn't say polished, I said buffed.
well, I've had a lot of those polished over the years. Oh, yeah. You bet.
Yeah, I got pretty good at that.
Well, I had all that polished on the flathead, which I almost am afraid to mention because everybody says, so where is it? Well, it's getting close. It's getting close.
You got that tank on it. Oh, boy.
Well, I got one of the tanks on there. Yeah. Yeah, I've got to get, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mock-up of that bike. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put the engine in it with no guts in the engine and put the tanks on it, put the pipes on it, and take it all over and have Rob Turner, and Rob doesn't even know it yet, but I'm going to go over and have Rob weld all my brackets and tabs on it that I'm going to need. So I want to do that before I build the engine.
Nice.
Well, it's just an easier way of doing it. Then I can take it apart, paint the frame, do all I want to do while I'm doing the engine.
He just finished the shovelhead.
What's that?
He just finished the shovelhead chopper. It came out pretty good.
Who did? Rob did?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it. I haven't been to his house.
I'll show you on Facebook.
Well, it's probably on my Facebook too. Anyway, let's see here. So I'm real pleased to get this cam cover on here. And like I said, I will be getting onto the flathead soon. It's been it's been kind of an uphill battle getting all the money set aside for it. Because that's going to be a really nice motor. The transmission's already done. The front end just needs all its finish work, but I've got all the front end parts on there. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm going to enjoy actually the flathead is something I am so looking forward to riding that I can't tell you. I don't just want to look at it, I want to ride that thing to death. I like flathead 80s. Anyway, which is why I have it. So, anyway, we've got these cam cover screws all in there. Yeah, this is not working that well.
You got the lower end of the speed wrench down.
There we go. I think what I'll do is I'll get this thing out. This looks like it will fit nicely. No, it doesn't. Do I have a bigger one?
Want a number one screwdriver?
Yeah. I need a big one. Let me get a big one and go around that thing all the way and do it the way I'd like it to be done. Oh, that's nice. I don't think that's too big.
Oh, that's a number one. All right.
Okay. And here is a 7/16. No, I wanted a half. There's a half somewhere here. Let me get a half. Excuse me, I need to get a half out of the box. And there we go. Now, I show this for a reason. This is not easy to do with a torque wrench. But you can certainly do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you'll notice I went from the center out, here, 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 finished right out here to the end. Now we'll go in this direction. And it'll make sense when you watch. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I hate that. I slipped. 4 and 5. And what we've done is we did it so we could spread the torque as we went and create our own pattern for tightening it. In other words, we went from the middle out.
Okay.
In other words, going from here all the way to here, and then from here all the way to here. And there it is. And it's pretty evenly tightened.
Are you going to torque them or is that it?
That was it.
Okay.
That's what I said I was doing. Okay. So now we can put the lifter blocks in.
Do you want the alcohol?
Actually, if I could find it, I would. And if you can, yeah, how about we don't do that?
That's your that's your subtle way of saying you lost it.
Yeah, you lost it, man.
I know.
Okay. Yeah, do you?
Yeah.
It's outside somewhere, probably.
In front of,
I knew it. I knew it. Okay. Oops. Oh, I hate that. This has to be very carefully cleaned, but it's fine. Had nothing on it.
Could be.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to put these back in the motor. They are still well oiled, and you must remember, okay, this is a front lifter block.
It says F on it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, Harley casts front and rear in them. They say front and rear. Okay. This is a front one, and when you put them in, you have to remember, you have to line this hole up right here with this hole in the case. That's the oiler. The other thing is the oil holes in the lifter are on one side, and they have to, on one side, and they have to point in.
Yeah.
So there they are, pointing in, and I think what we need more than anything now is the gaskets. And they're right here.
You want this card over here?
No, I actually got it set pretty good so I could do this without being in your way.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, now, this is the front one. I think, just for fun, I think I'm going to put the rear one in first. It's a little easier that way. Okay, this is the gasket for the rear one. For the front one. And this is the gasket for the rear one. So what we'll do is we'll wipe it down. Oh, look at that gasket. Is that going to come off? Okay. Not doing real well here. Let's see. Ah!
It's because the camera's on. It's because the camera's on.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
I figured as much. What I'm going to do is get this gasket off of here with this here razor blade. There we go. I did it again. You know, I usually have this stuff all cleaned up and ready to go, and somehow I just kind of got behind today.
That's because I rushed you.
Well, that's all right. We can do this. And tomorrow, maybe I can get more of this thing done. Okay. Okay, now this is, again, the rear lifter block. And I'm going to make sure that I've got the flats on the lifters pointed in toward each other. There it is. Okay. So that's the rear one. And we'll put it in first. So let's see, where's that hole go? Should go about like that. There it is. Okay. Now, in order to drop that down in, just remember, got to keep those oil holes lined up. So I can drop this one in very easily. If I can get that light out of my face.
Your face.
There we go.
And you put your fingers in the other hole, right? Do that? Yeah.
Well, it's a little difficult. Okay, so let's get these 4 in there real quick. There we go. You know, it's funny. I went and I got all of these measurements and everything done, and I forgot to show everybody, which I'm sure they've all seen it before, but I'm going to do it now anyway. I'm going to measure the end play in that cam. Okay, now this is probably a little thinner than I need, but you just stick that right in there, and it'll tell you. Okay? Did you get in there?
Well, I did for a minute, then your hat got in the way.
Okay, is that good enough to see it?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Between the cam and the thrust plate. Okay. Okay, so this one is now in here. This is the rear, and it is now officially in place. Now you'll notice on the center case bolt here, I had to take the nut off of that in order to get the lifter block out of there. Could not lift it out without removing that nut. And it varies from different years and different lifter blocks and all that, but that's pretty common.
You know, after you put the cam in, is there a break-in or anything like that?
Well, you know, a lot of people say there is. I certainly don't remember ever having to break in a cam in a Harley. I'm sure you do. I mean, it's like the science is there, but I don't think we normally do it. Now, about 40 people may write in on that, and I'd like to hear what they have to say. There we go. We'll get those in there. And there's not much left of this job, really. Looks like something quite short. Like I said, I did my measuring and fitting already. There we go. Now I like to torque these down with a torque wrench, and I will. And it'll be probably like 80, 90 inch-pounds. These tappet block screws are quarter inch. So 80, 90 inch-pounds of torque. Not foot-pounds, inch-pounds. That 80, 90 inch-pounds of torque is adequate. What?
I'm trying to see it through the viewfinder.
Am I holding you up here?
No, it's just I can't see.
Oh, sorry about that. Well, I think what I'll do is get this one screw done, and we'll get the other lifter block in there. Let me just do this a little easier here. There we go. That's easier. Now this ball end Allen wrench is kind of a nice tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The only thing is it can be used for light torquing, not heavy torquing.
Mm-hmm.
You torque this tight and it will snap the end right off of it. I have broken a lot of them. A lot of them, not really, but I have broken them. Okay. This is here. And like I said, I'm coming back with an inch-pound torque wrench for that.
Next video.
No, I'm coming back with an inch-pound torque wrench, and I'll get them done. And then in the next video, what we'll do is we'll put the push rods in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And when nobody's looking, because you're going to help, which tells me nobody's going to be looking, is I need you to hold the other side as I torque this down.
No problem.
Because the case bolts are to be torqued at 25 foot-pounds.
Oh, boy.
Well, 25 foot-pounds on a quarter-inch stud like that is quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going, it's a 5/16 fine thread, and you're going to torque that thing down 25 pounds because all the rest of them are. I mean, all the rest of the case bolts that hold your engine cases together. Okay, so now we have this one, and this one's a little bit of magic you got to use here, just a little bit. And the reason you do, okay, see where that oil hole is? So it's got to go right up there. But what I'm trying to show is when I hold this with my hand, my left hand under it, let me get this wiped clean here first. Okay, my left hand is under it,
Let me see, left hand under it.
holding the lifters. Now, as I go to set this in, I have to be able to set it in quick enough
Nice.
that those lifters don't fall out. And I don't know that I did it yet, except this light's going to drive me crazy. There we go. Okay, there they are. It's just a little hard to drop them in. What we could do is we could have pulled the hydraulic units out, and we could have used one of my little magnetic setups here. That's over here. And we could have done that. Or we could have done it old style like I just did, which is just sneak it in there real quick. But see, this is a magnet. They designed these when they came out with Evo motors because we had such a rough time with those valve trains. The factory tried to build a motorcycle we couldn't take apart.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Didn't work.
But,
Made it better.
well, you know, well, the Evo's a good motor, but they they really, between the motor company and the government, boy, they riveted the ignitions shut, and they you couldn't remove the push rods without taking the motor apart. So we all went out and bought bolt cutters like that pair hanging on the wall up there so we could cut them out. And I mean, that's what we were up against in 1984 when Evos came out. So anyway, I think we'll get these in here. And I must say, this thing is not very far from back together again. Changing a cam in these things is just not that big a deal. It's like anything else, you got to get your brain right and just kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
Take it slow and enjoy it. It's not a hard thing to do, but I think that's one of the first things people try to do in these things because we all want to hot rod them a little. A little.
And the biggest thing that scares me is shimming.
Shimming, wow, the
Yeah, but you show it, you make it easy.
it's not
Anyway.
it's not hard to do, but it's, and the thing that people forget is the cams all come with instructions.
You do?
Well, sure they do. They'll tell you what the end play should be. I really don't care what Harley Davidson thinks it should be. I'm more interested if I'm putting an Andrews cam in there, I want to know what Andrews thinks.
Yeah.
I mean, they're high performance people. Okay, like I said, I want to tighten these down to about 90 inch-pounds, and I will do that before I go to bed tonight. Now, other than that, all I would like to say is we're almost done with this project, and we'll show the rest of anything that I think we should show in the next video on it. We've already got 2. This is the 3rd one, I think. So We'll get back to it in the next video. What I would like to say, though, we do have T-shirts, and Christmas is coming. You really need to buy someone a T-shirt for Christmas. Anyway, those are our T-shirts, and we do have baseball caps.
If you buy a hat, send a picture.
Send a picture. Mike wants to see pictures of people wearing our hats, and they are embroidered. They're really nice hats.
Born free.
Pardon?
I'm going to be wearing one on Born Free.
Well, good for you. That's great. Anyway, there they are. And so by all means, the way to order a shirt is, or baseball cap, is you go to pacificmike.com. That is our website, pacificmike.com. In the upper right-hand corner, it says T-shirt store. You click on that and you're there.
Yay.
So that's it. Other than that, I don't know of anything exciting happening except Thanksgiving, but I'll probably be talking to all of you before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep looking forward to turkey and stuffing and all that good stuff. And I'll be talking to you soon. And until then, I'll see you out on the road.